All right, so today we're going to dive into a source that talks about this invisible war happening inside our bodies, a constant attack on our cells. And get this, it also points to a surprisingly simple solution, one that might be closer than you think. So let's jump right in.
So the source we're looking at kicks things off with this really interesting idea that tiny, unstable molecules are basically waging a nonstop war on your cells. It's a fight you can't see, you can't feel, but the source claims it impacts pretty much everything, from how fast you age to your risk for all sorts of diseases.
Okay, so who's the bad guy in this whole story? Well, the article calls them free radicals, and they're supposedly right at the heart of this whole internal battle. So, what in the world is a free radical? The easiest way to think about it is like a tiny, desperate thief. See, it's a molecule that's missing an electron, which makes it super unstable and reactive. And to try and feel whole again, it just aggressively steals an electron from any healthy molecule nearby, damaging your cells, proteins, and even your DNA in the process. And here's the crazy part. It doesn't just stop with one theft. This is where it gets really destructive. When a free radical steals an electron, it turns its victim into a new free radical. It literally creates a chain reaction, right? Like a set of dominoes falling, just causing damage that can spread like wildfire through your body. So you're probably wondering, where do these things even come from? Well, the article says some of them are just a natural part of being alive. Things like breathing or turning your food into energy. But a whole lot of them are also triggered by this sort of hidden environmental attack we're under every day. Things like pollution, UV rays from the sun, smoking, and even some processed foods.
Okay, so you've got all this microscopic damage happening. What's the end result? What's the real cost? Well, the source material has a name for it: oxidative stress. And that is the real price we pay for this internal battle.
Now, don't get me wrong, our bodies are pretty smart. We have our own natural defenses against free radicals. The problem, according to this source, is when things get out of balance, when the sheer number of these little thieves just completely overwhelms our body's ability to fight back. And that state of being overwhelmed, that's what the article calls oxidative stress. And listen, according to the source, the stakes here are, well, they're incredibly high. They link oxidative stress to some of the biggest, scariest health challenges out there, from heart disease and cancer to neurological disorders like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, not to mention things like chronic inflammation and even just premature aging, like wrinkles. All right, so that's the problem. And yeah, it sounds pretty serious. But the good news is, the source doesn't just leave us with the doom and gloom. It actually introduces a potential hero to save the day. And the solution this source proposes is, well, it's surprisingly simple. Antioxidant water. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can water fight a complex battle on a cellular level? The answer, the article says, comes down to one specific chemical property. To get this, we've got to talk about something called ORP, which stands for oxidation reduction potential. Sounds complicated, right? But really, it's just a simple measurement. It tells you if something is more likely to steal electrons, that's the bad guy, the oxidizer, or if it's more likely to donate electrons, which is the good guy, the antioxidant. Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. Let's look at this comparison. The source claims that most of the water we drink, tap water, bottled water, it has a positive ORP. That means it's actually a mild oxidizing agent. But this antioxidant water they're talking about, it has a negative ORP, and that makes it an antioxidant agent, an electron donor. So here's how it's supposed to work. Because this water has that negative ORP, it basically has all these extra electrons it's happy to give away. So when a free radical comes along, all aggressive and looking to steal an electron, the antioxidant water just says, "Here, take one of mine." It neutralizes the threat and stops that whole destructive chain reaction right in its tracks. Okay, so if this water really can neutralize free radicals, what does that mean for us, for our health? What are the supposed benefits? Well, the article lays out some pretty powerful potential outcomes. First and foremost, the core claim is this. By stopping those little electron thieves, it protects your cells and even your DNA from that initial damage. The damage that can snowball into bigger health problems. It's all about stopping the problem right at the source. Next up, the source claims it can actually support your heart health. And how does it do that? Apparently by reducing the oxidation of bad LDL cholesterol. That's a huge step in the whole process of plaque building up in our arteries. And hey, remember how we talked about free radicals messing with things like the collagen and elastin in our skin?
Well, by protecting those crucial molecules, the source says this water can help keep your skin elastic, which could mean fewer wrinkles and just a more youthful look overall.
And finally, a big one. It's claimed to boost your energy and help you recover faster. The thinking here is that by getting your cells better hydrated and improving your metabolism, your body just runs more efficiently. And you'd probably feel that the most after a workout, right?
But wait, there's more. The list of potential perks in this article keeps going. It suggests that if you can lower that overall burden of oxidative stress on your body, you might see all sorts of other benefits, like a stronger immune system, better skin, even healthier digestion and improved brain function, since you're protecting those neurons from damage over the years.
You know, the source's conclusion really ties it all together perfectly. It says that this kind of water offers, and I'm quoting here, a simple and effective way to neutralize free radicals, protect the body from oxidative stress, and improve overall health.
And all of this leaves us with one last, kind of provocative question to think about, based on everything we've just gone over. It really makes you stop and think about something you do every single day, without a second thought, drinking water, and ask yourself, is the water you're drinking actually helping, or could it be hurting, that invisible battle going on inside your body right now?